Well, you guessed it. Today we're bringing the cattle home from the winter pasture. That's what's going on today on Farmertylerranch. I'm being pills today. Okay, come on. Let's go, girls. The difficult part with offloading each group is the previous group is thinking that their calf might be in this load. So they like to get right up here at the gate and do this. All right, we just got 2 more cows and 20 calves. It's gonna be 2 more loads. Hey. I have to tell you, I thought these last 2 cows were gonna by far be the hardest, take twice as long as any other load, but they split off from the group perfectly, got in the trailer no problem. So, well, sometimes you get lucky. Get back. You guys. Bottle calves. I always breathe a sigh of relief when I get back here after taking the last cows away and see that the calves have not escaped. It's always my worst fear that they're gonna break out of that pen somehow, and then they would be just about impossible to catch without mama here to help them. This group looks pretty relaxed. We'll try to keep them that way as we work them up into the trailer. Turn around. Oh, nice. Mommy's on the other end of this rag. Got a bit of a traffic jam up there. If that leader would just jump in, I think they'd all start going. Kind of hoping if we're patient that he will. Come on, hey, you're going the wrong way, dude. Turn around. So we can't take them all together, which usually I can, but we might just kind of have to split them and push the front group in, and then hopefully we can push the back group in behind them. Is that 10 of you? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think that is 10. One. The trick with calves is you either want to be far enough behind them so that they can't reach you with their hooves when they kick, or you want to be so close to them that they can't really get a good swing on you. This group had a lot of kickers in it, but fortunately none of them got me. When I offload the calves, I have to put them in the working corral here and then open the gate out into the big corral where they can then be with their mother. The reason why I can't just dump them off right into the corral is probably obvious, and that is the cows would just swarm the trailer, they'd be getting out, it would just be a mess. It's a lot cleaner to do it this way. Get mauled at that gate, I think we'll open this gate and get them going this way. Let's go that way. There you go. Come on guys, let's go this way. Well, it might take them a few minutes, but it won't take long. Everybody will get paired back up and be happy again. They're waiting for me this morning. There we go. The bottle calves are about 2 months old now, and I'm still mostly giving them 2 bottles a day. Next stop this morning, we got to run over to the hayfield and see how wet it is over there. I'm hoping that it's still pretty wet, because if it's ready to go right now, then I'm going to miss breakfast again, and that's not a good way to start my day. Well, it's hard to tell. It's definitely not way too wet to get started, so I think I'll run over and grab the baler, bring it over here. We'll make a bale and let the probe tell us if it's ready to go or not. All right, well, let's see if I'm eating breakfast this morning or not. $25, $23, $22, $26. Well, we got a high of 26, 27, and a low of 22, so this is definitely too wet, which is good. That means I get to eat this morning. We'll rebale that one once it dries out. Well, I got my breakfast. It's probably been a little over an hour, hour and a half. Let's see how this hay looks now. It feels a lot better, so I'm hoping we can go. Sure a lot dustier. Got a 16, 16, 16 and a half. I'd say that's perfect. Let's drop the hammer. Well, the pile of bales is growing. We're up to 177 on the ground, and today was a pretty good day. I baled a little over 60. Usually I can only get about 50 before things get too dry. And speaking of things getting too dry, a lot of people have been asking a similar question, and I think people are confused about why do you cut the hay, let it dry, and then wait for moisture to come back into it before you bale it. And I guess I should clarify that when you're dealing with hay, there's basically two different kinds of moisture that you're concerning yourself with. The first moisture would be the water content that's actually inside the stems of the plant. As you might know, when you have like a piece of green grass, that's somewhere between, I think it's like 80 or 90% water. And when you cut the hay and let it sit out, you're trying to get all of that water that's within the plant itself to dry out. When you guys see me probing the bales and checking the moisture, I'm checking surface moisture that's brought on by the dew that we get every morning. Ideally, I want these bales to be like 16% moisture is perfect. If you're a little bit below that or a little bit above that, you're fine. But if you get too far above that, then you run the risk of the bales molding on the inside, and in extreme cases they can start to heat up and even catch on fire. So you certainly don't want that. If the bales are too dry, on the other hand, then they just don't make solid bales, which means they don't stack very well, they don't handle very well with the tractor, and I've always assumed that the cows don't like to eat them as much because they're just kind of dry and chaffy. Not to mention the fact that when you start getting into really low moisture hay in that 10% range or below, and you're running out here in the afternoon, then the risk of fire starts to become a little bit greater. So I usually quit when I get to about 10 or 11%, and that's what I did today. So to sum it all up, we cut the hay, we let all the moisture that is inside the stems and the leaves dry out, and then we use dew moisture on the outside of the plant to achieve our desired moisture that we want in the bale. Okay, next stop, we got to go back over to the winter pasture. Even though I don't have any cows over there anymore, I still have some stuff over there that needs to come home. Specifically, I want to go grab the feed wagon today. The other night when the cows got out at the winter pasture, and if you saw that video, then you saw I dropped the feed wagon off and went back to catch them. Well, when I dropped it off, I didn't bother putting the feet down. I just left it on the tongue jack. What ended up happening is the 2 or 3 that didn't get out came over to the feed wagon to get at the hay, as you would expect them to, and as they were pushing on it back and forth, they broke the tongue jack off of the tongue of the trailer. So, you know, kind of add an insult to injury. So now I probably should have stopped at the shop and welded that back on, but it's a little windy and dry today and I just didn't want to do any outdoor welding. So we're going to use the high lift to detach this from the truck. I really never like using a high lift, but sometimes it's the only thing that'll work. Should call these things Widowmakers. Well, I'm sure it won't take them too long to clean this out for me. I closed the gate into the corral because I didn't want the cows to come up and bother me while I was messing with the feed wagon. So as I'm walking back over here to open it, look at this pathetic guy here, just standing at the gate. He knows there's a bunch of new girls out here that he hasn't seen in a while, and he's just hoping, I guess, that maybe they'll walk by. In years past, when I brought cattle home from the winter pasture, I would usually drop them off here in the working corral, run them through the chute, give them their spring vaccinations, and then band and do whatever else is needed to be done to the calves. And you might have noticed, I didn't do that this year. So that's right around the corner, but it's not gonna happen today. Thanks for hanging out with me today, guys, and I hope I'll see you again on Farmer Tyler Ranch.